From Ya Ha Tinda, JJ and I are going to find out how's the hike on the Forbidden Creek, Tyrrell Pass Loop. Great to be underway on what is a Plan B hike. I'll explain that later. We weren't supposed to be here just yet, but glad to be here. Smoky, but not nearly as smoky as where we thought we were going to be right now. I want to show you, we're going to exit here on the loop. I'm going to come right out here. You've seen me up here before on the Red Deer River at Ya Ha Tinda. And this road that's kind of straight ahead is how we're going to exit. And first, we actually have to kind of walk up toward the ranch to intersect the trail that's going to take us up toward Forbidden Creek. So this will be new. Yeah, huffing and puffing. I don't know why. Maybe it's the smoke. There's Warden Rock on your left and the Red Deer Valley in the middle. As I said a second ago, we'll be coming back that way. It's a beautiful walk. Walking up toward the buildings now of the ranch. You can see some horses. Met a Parks Canada employee minutes ago. Had a nice long chat with him actually. Learned that there's well over 100 horses here in the winter and currently 40. These are the horses you see out on the trail if you're lucky enough to see one of the horse team out there in action. So we're heading up that way and then we'll have to make a left tomorrow. I'm going to follow a road most of the way. We just have to go through the buildings and come around and intersect it again. Old fire road, which makes pretty easy walking on day one, honestly. It'll be the same on the last day, coming out the old Cascade Fire Road down the Red Deer River. Little shot of the gang out there. It's actually, I'll go slowly over here. There's a couple of different cliques. Interesting how they team up, just like people. Coming up now to the heart of the ranch, which I haven't seen before. Apparently 3 people live here full-time during the winter. Bigger crew during the summer. Show you what I can while respecting their privacy. But we'll carry on up the road. And I think he said go right. And then we'll come back to the left. Training facility here, some sort from back in the day. Interesting. Nice new pen right there.
Is that the horse wash?
That's the horse wash. That's the massager it looks like actually. Older buildings here. Even over there, another older building. Very cool. Well, there's something I haven't seen before. Hot coals only. Not sure that plastic wrap on the outside's gonna work too well, but looks like some perhaps power generation. Oh look, they've got an EV charger and some diesel probably running those generators in there and to fill up their vehicles. Here's your tour of Ya Ha Tinda. I think. Oh, there might be more to see up here. Hang on. Gonna make a big curve to the right and then back to the left as we exit. They've even got some pretty good solar installations going on up here. Well equipped. All right, who's grabbing the electric fence handle? Somebody's got to do it.
I'll take one for the team.
All right. This could be shocking. We have exited the ranch. And I just want to clarify something. We had permission from a Parks Canada employee to come through and hit this trail. So if you're going to try the same thing we're doing, ask permission first. Here's our intersection. We're going to make a big left. I'm pretty sure we could have come up from where we parked this way, but with a pretty decent climb out of the parking lot, Woo! Why am I out of breath, Jim? Huh? I don't know.
You're not alone.
All right, trip update. So JJ, we got about 5.5 kilometers into our 15 today, and it's, road walking, and we get to see the ranch. JJ's not feeling well. In fact, if I can say, he's been throwing up and just feeling terrible. So we're going to walk down this road past Bighorn Falls and back to the cars and see if we can get him out of here. Vomiting and that type of thing on the trail is actually quite a serious thing. It can lead to dehydration. People can literally pass out. And I'm going to walk him back to the car and make sure he gets there. So I'm bringing that up simply because you may recall the North Fork Pass trip in the Front Ranges here. We left Scott to go back to a campsite that wasn't too far, and we carried on the hike. A little different situation because Scott was just not feeling well, out of sorts, didn't have any energy, but he wasn't throwing up. And the campsite that we were heading back to was pretty close. So that's a little bit of a different decision-making process there. Dehydration is a serious thing out here, and it's hot and it's smoky, and that can cause these issues as well. So we're going to make our way back down to the cars, and then I'll figure out what's next. But the last thing I'll say is, I can continue on the trip. In fact, I could just start again when we get back to the car. I could start tomorrow. I'm already out here. But it's September, and bears are in hyperphagia. What that really means is they're so busy eating, they're so concentrated on eating that they don't pay attention to their own surroundings, and you can walk up on one pretty quick even if you're calling out. I'm not super concerned about that, but it's certainly something I think about when I'm hiking solo out here this time of year. And the areas that I choose to hike solo are also part of that process. So anyway, you're up to date. We're heading back down this way. I'm pretty stoked we get to see all the buildings at Ya Ha Tinda because few people get to see those. So that was really cool. All right, back to that intersection. We came that way from the ranch. This apparently is closed. It says here, this is not a designated trail, stay off. And then we have some information here that we also saw back at the trailhead. So we're going to continue on this way and then make a big 90-degree turn down through Bighorn Falls and back to the parking area. Yeah, all kinds of trails here for horses and stuff, eh? How you feeling? Yeah. Picking our way along pretty flat here. We're going to make that turn I mentioned a second ago, but I can smell the campfire. It's funny, when I was if anybody looked at my community tab, where I'm going to post more frequently now, like bloggy stuff, Kamloops where I was when Jim and I, so that's the other thing, I'll tell you in a second. We were going to go do a different hike, I'll tell you about that, but I'm in Kamloops kind of getting my car fixed again, and I couldn't see the sun. Let me flash up a picture. Yeah, so look at that. So if you look ahead, not nearly as bad, but I can smell smoke, campfire type smoke. Yeah, so you know what? I'll talk about why we're out here attempting this trip in the next clip or two. Back into the ranch boundary now. Not really much on this side telling us anything. Everything seems to be facing as you leave the boundary. Have a look over here for you. What's that say?
Welcome to the Upper Clearwater Forest Land Use Zone.
Yeah, there it is. Well done. How you feeling now?
Wonderful.
Where's my sarcasm meter? I need one of those to go with the Ford camp. Walking down a well-braided, tracked, whatever you want to call it, horse pasture on our way back to the trailhead. So the initial plan, just so you know, because it's a good plan actually, it was a short one, 3 nights. We're going to head up to the intersection, well, close to the intersection with Forbidden Creek. CC7, Jim, was that kind of the area we're going to be in? Yeah, this is on Fording River Publishing map for this area, which is a great map, by the way, as are all their other maps, as I've said this summer. Anyway, and then the next day, we were going to head up Forbidden Creek. And I looked at Forbidden Creek from the Horse Outfitter camp near Peters Creek when I did the Clearwater Red Deer Circuit. and thought, that valley looks interesting. Well, that was second day, heading up to an area called Frank's Camp. Day 3, we were going to head up over Tyrrell Pass and down to the Red Deer River, and then back to what's it called? Boundary Camp? No.
Border camp.
Border Camp. So I showed you this in my earlier Ya Ha Tinda video. I showed you this little campsite right by the park fence. So that would have been 3 nights where we crossed through the park but did not camp in the park. So we saved the fee. We also saved the reservation fee that goes to Camas. But, caveat, you have to have your $35 a year Alberta camping pass. But when you have that, then these areas are yours to explore. So it's a pretty good deal, frankly, even though at one point it used to be free. So that was the plan. Then from Border Camp, just along the Red Deer River on the old fire road, as I've shown you, back to the car. So a nice little loop from the ranch. This is a great area, as you can tell. And there is access here to, well, pretty much all of the front ranges of Banff National Park. Pretty exceptional. We'll get back out here. This is a trip JJ and I had planned for later in September. And we were going to be doing Moose River route up to Mount Robson starting this week. But as I mentioned earlier, the smoke was pretty horrific.
And down the Berg Lake Trail.
Oh, that's right, down the new Berg Lake Trail. Thank you. That was kind of the point of it, wasn't it? Moose River route up to Adolphus on the north boundary and down the new Berg Lake Trail, which we still have tabled potentially for this month. But there's no point in huffing and puffing up to Berg Lake in intense smoke. We wouldn't be able to show you much anyway. So this is kind of our plan B hike. And we're now on to plan C.
So the plan, like you said, Stuart, was 3 nights.
Yep.
4 days.
Yep.
Which I think is important in your 100 nights with us. Because like you said, there's always one last day.
It's true.
Coming out to the trailhead. And sometimes that last day can be long.
It's true.
Yeah.
And difficult. Yeah, like the last day on the Berg Lake Trail was going to be 25 odd kilometers from Adolphus.
Yeah.
Yeah, so funny, the last time I was at Ya Ha Tinda, funny you bring that up, I mentioned that it should have been 100 days, not 100 nights, because of all those last days that I'm not, or wasn't counting. But I'm counting them now.
Yeah, I mean, effectively, every hike that you take, there's one last day on it.
That's right.
So if you do 20 hikes in the year,
Yep.
that's 20 days you're not counting in.
Exactly. Yeah. Totally right. And that was my mistake, and it would have been just as valid had I said that. 100 days backpacking. Which I still think I can get to. Today's one of them. Another view of Warden Rock and the Red Deer River. You can see the smoke. It's actually not as bad as it's been. We were just talking about that. I think Cochrane last week had the worst air quality in the country. You couldn't see anything, and I've already talked about Kamloops. That's really not horrific, but it's bad. No question about it. But look at this place. This is just, woo! I just love it out here. Smoke and all. Just coming up here to the falls. We're gonna go up that way, Jim, that way. But if you wanted to, you could do a little rock hop forward here and go down the other side, like right up over there. And maybe there's a better view of the falls from that side. I don't know. You don't want to rock hop in your condition? No. Not really, no. So we'll make a right and go back up over that hill. We'll go down this way and around that way. This comes out of nowhere too, this gorge. Let's see if we can get a glimpse of the rapids. Okay, update. Obviously we can see where the falls are. Come over here to Toe Tingle Land for me, hoping we could see something, and we can't. Look at that though. The falls are obviously over there. You can see the mist coming off of them. And then JJ's over there. Got some people day hiking. We're on the wrong side of her. Well, there's the trailhead. A little bit of rock to contend with down here. A little steep. All right, we'll go back over here, Jim. We'll find out how's the hike. Well, we got Jim sitting down, and I'm keeping my distance in case whatever's going on is contagious. How you feeling?
Okay. Okay.
How was the hike?
Short.
Short. Well, you know what? We did almost 11 kilometers, actually. Almost 11 kilometers. And I'm going to say, you know, good teaching moment. Somebody starts throwing up on the trail, turn around, especially if you're at 5.5K into your day. And we get to see the buildings in Ya Ha Tinda. We have permission. I said that earlier. We talked to a guy for 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Had some great conversation, learned a lot. Yeah. And just about stuff. Old Warden, I think he used to be a warden up in Jasper, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the South Boundary area. So that was, I could talk to people like that all day long. So what's your plan now?
Well, I got a 4 or 5 hour drive home.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to the bumpy road.
That I can't help you with that. I can follow you down the trail, but I can't help you with that.
I think I'm just going to get some rest and figure out what I'm doing with my body, what's going on. But
yeah.
I mean, all things aside, it's just great to get out here. This is beautiful country.
Sure is.
This is new to me. You know, we hiked with Isabel last year a bit to the west, and
right.
And that was an eye-opener.
Yes.
And this really would have been an eye-opener the next 4 days.
Well, get yourself
so I'm
better.
glad we at least got out here
Yeah.
to experience some of what's here. And, you know, we learned a lot. We learned a lot from that Parks Canada staff. So I really see coming back here in the future.
Yes.
Just not tomorrow.
Well said. Hope you enjoyed the video. Questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. And, well, I got to go find another trail to hike. See you next time.